Given the recent influx of woke YouTubers, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people have been going through their spiritual awakening this year. Now, what is a woke YouTuber? What does it even mean to be woke in general? All it means to be woke is that you've gone through your spiritual awakening, or you're going through your spiritual awakening. That's really all it means. Now, I will say this. If you're going through your spiritual awakening, it doesn't really end. Once you become woke, once you wake up to the idea that we are not our physical bodies, you basically enter into a rabbit hole that doesn't end, because you'll never look at life the same way again. In essence, you're being red pilled. And I don't mean red pill in terms of understanding women. I mean red pill in terms of understanding life and spirituality and what it means to actually be spiritual. Now, as I've said before, the essence of spirituality is neutrality. That's all spirituality is. Being woke is nothing more than understanding that we are not our physical bodies and we are inherently neutral because we are one. Separation is an illusion. And obviously, this is a lot to process for somebody that has not gone through their spiritual awakening. For some people, this video might be the beginning of their spiritual awakening. That's how spiritual awakenings usually start. They start with an event. Now, for me personally, my event was I went through a situation with a girl. And, I basically got my feelings hurt so bad that I had to look within. I had to do self-examination and realize why I was in that position to begin with. And that was basically the foundation of my spiritual awakening. The reason why a lot of people have been going through their spiritual awakening in 2020 is because there's been a lot of things happening. A lot of crazy things have happened this year. Things that some people might perceive as bad, but like I said, everything is inherently neutral. No experience has any meaning except for the meaning that you assign to it. So, having a spiritual awakening is learning to redefine your meanings on different things that happen to you and understanding that things don't happen to you. Reality is a reflection of you because we are one. Everything responds to your energy, your vibration. So, in 2020, so many crazy things have happened, from celebrity deaths to, the pandemic, the election going on, and a lot of personal things for each individual. I've had things happen to me this year that in previous years probably would have broke me. But this year, I've become a lot stronger. Not even stronger, but my perspective has broadened so much that I'm able to see the good in any situation, no matter how bad it seems. Because like I said, everything is inherently neutral. And the meaning that you assign to any event, that determines your vibration, and thus the reality that you will experience as a result. Now, one big thing that a lot of people notice as they go through their spiritual awakening is that they begin to see angel numbers. Now, I've talked about angel numbers in the past. Basically, an angel number is any repeating number or any number that you see very frequently. So for example, with me, I was seeing 111 a lot. I started seeing that number in 2019 actually. And I saw that number up until today. I still see it right now, every single day, multiple times a day usually. Now, it's important to understand that angel numbers are nothing more than a message to your subconscious mind. So you do not need to know exactly what these angel numbers mean. Don't go and look on the internet looking for the meaning of 111 or of 222 or of any number that you see. Angel numbers are not meant to be taken at the conscious level. That's why they're there. They're a message to your subconscious mind. They influence your actions directly, and they bypass your ego. They bypass the ego, therefore you don't need to assign a meaning to them. Your subconscious mind will already know what they mean, and you'll take actions as a result. And it's hard. It's hard when you start going through your spiritual awakening, and you are basically obsessed with learning new information. This is something that is very common. And this definitely happened with me. I was spending hours and hours and hours a day researching spirituality and, finding different brands of spirituality where everyone is saying kind of the same thing, kind of different. Spiritual soul might say this, infinite waters might say this, somebody else might say something else. And it's hard, it's hard to take in all of this information because you don't know who's right. You don't know who to believe. I never had anxiety before I went through my spiritual awakening. The reason why I started having anxiety is because I was so concerned with finding out the truth. And eventually, what I realized is that the belief in your truth is the truth in your belief. So, in other words, if you believe something to be true, that is your truth. There is not any universal truth out there, except for the truth that what you believe to be true is true. And even that is not a universal truth. So if you see what I'm saying here, there's no answer to life. There's no one correct answer. Like I said, if you're seeing angel numbers and things like that, if you're going through your spiritual awakening, you're going to receive downloads. You're going to receive downloads that will provide you with the truth that you need on your path. Now, am I saying you should not do any type of research at all? I'm not saying that. Go do as much research as you want to do, but take everything that you read or watch or listen to with a grain of salt and look within. This is something that Spiritual Soul says a lot. Look within for the answers. Don't take anybody's word for anything. Don't just listen to what I say. Look within. Look within your heart and learn more about yourself and figure out what your truth is, what resonates within you. We are not all here to believe the same thing. For some people, my truth might resonate within you. For some people, it might not, and that's okay. But figure out what your truth is. Look within. Do as much research as you need to, but find the commonalities between everything and look within to figure out your personal truth. Now, one really big symptom of my spiritual awakening was a desire to be alone. Now, I'm an introvert, and if you're an introvert, you understand that sometimes you just want to be by yourself, but this was different. This was different, and I think it wasn't so much from the place of wanting to be alone. It was more from a place of understanding that we are one, therefore separation is an illusion, and thus interaction with anybody else is an illusion. Interactions with other people seemed, in my mind, meaningless at the time. I felt like there was no point in talking to other people if we're all constructed of the same energy anyways. We are all part of the same universal conscious. Why should I talk to other people? All I need to do is look within. But then I realized that we are on this physical realm for a reason. It's to interact with other people and learn from other people and learn more about ourselves by learning from other people. But at the same time, don't ignore this. If this happens to you, if you want to be alone, spend time alone, because that's another way that you learn more about yourself. You need a good balance in life. Balance is key. Balance is the key to happiness. You learn from other people, but you also learn from yourself. There's a saying that you become the 5 people that you hang out with the most. If you hang out with yourself the most, you're going to become your true natural self. And within that discovery of yourself, you might find that you develop new passions that you did not know were there. For me, for example, I developed a passion for playing guitar and writing poetry. Those are 2 things that I never did growing up. I didn't even know I could write poetry. And, it wasn't just like, a poem a week or something like that. No. My life basically revolved around writing for the better part of 3 months. If you go back on my channel and look from maybe late March all the way through the middle of May, almost all of my content was poetry related or poetry based, centered around the things that I was writing, because I was writing every single day. So, this is something that you guys may experience, not necessarily with poetry, but maybe with other things. You may discover that you want to be a YouTuber and you start filming videos. Follow that passion. Follow that intuitive feeling. You need to follow your intuition. That's the best way to navigate through a spiritual awakening. Now, in self-expression and being alone, you start to receive downloads. Okay, you begin to receive downloads, and it's hard to really explain to people what a download is. The best way I could describe it is just a sudden knowing of something. You start making connections that you weren't making before. And this is basically the reason why I've been able to post almost every single day. Because every day I'm getting some type of download. I'm making connections. And sometimes I talk about the same things over and over, but I'm always bringing new insight because I'm making new connections and I'm growing. So, it's really easy for me to turn on the camera and talk for 15 to 20 minutes because it happens every day. I'm getting these downloads and I'm just telling you guys what's on my mind, the messages that I'm receiving. Some people might refer to this as channeling, whatever you want to call it. You start to receive an influx of information, just a bunch of new information or connections on old information that you weren't making before. As a result of this, another thing that happened to me on my spiritual awakening was that I started to wake up in the middle of the night every night. Okay, every night I would wake up around 3 to 4 in the morning and I could not go back to sleep. I'd wake up and I'd lay there and just think. Okay, I wouldn't get on my phone, none of that. I would lay there and just think and just receive downloads and make connections. And it was so weird. It's very, very weird and kind of unsettling if you're not used to something like that. So that's why it's very important to find a way to express yourself. Like I said, with me, it was through poetry, but you might have another form of self-expression. You need to get this information out of you. You need to express this information. Whether you share it or not, that's up to you. But start a journal, do something. You need to express. That's the only way you can receive more downloads. If you hold on to information, you don't have any room for new information. So you need to get it out. Create room for new information, for new wisdom.